All right, it's much better to spend between $100 and $300, depending on the square footage of your mobile home, to hire an inspector. All right, if you're not handy on a toolbox, you don't invest in manufactured homes or regular houses regularly, then by all means hire an inspector. When we're walking through a property, we want to do a visual inspection. We want to look under the manufactured home to make sure that there's no insulation falling, that the drains, when you flush the toilet or run the sink, that's not pouring right onto the ground itself, and it's not connecting to the pipes, or it should be connecting to the pipes that it's intended to. And I've actually seen where when you flush the toilet, it actually drains onto the ground. All right. We want to look for electrical problems. Make sure that the breakers look intact, both inside breakers and the outside breakers. We want to make sure that all the outlets work, that all the switches work. We want to make sure that the appliances, that they all work in normal fashion. All right, the roof, we want to do a visual inspection of the roof on the outside. We want to do a visual inspection of the siding of the house. Make sure that there's no pinholes in them. Make sure whatever damage, rust or scrapes, whatever needs to be fixed, that you are aware of that you're not surprised. Okay, we want to look for, we talked about electrical, we talked plumbing. Make sure that the hot water works. Make sure that all the sinks have hot water going to them and that all the sinks work. All right, we want to make sure that if there's a central heat and air unit, that's working fine. That's considered an appliance. All right, everything else that's staying, we want to do a visual inspection. When we're walking through the home, okay, we want to make sure that the heat works, that the AC works like we just talked about. We want to make sure that the switches and outlets work, that the walls are intact. Now, you don't have x-ray vision, you can't see if there's termites actually in the walls, but shaking really hard, putting a lot of force on the walls themselves to see if they shake or not, is a really good estimation. Also, when you're walking around the house, step on every single square foot that you can. In all the corners, in the closets, underneath the sink, make sure that there's no soft spots, okay? If you have to pull up a carpet, if you can, or you can pull up a rug, make sure underneath it that there are no holes in the floors. All right, wet areas especially, make sure that there's no soft spots. Get in the tub, jump up and down, make sure that the tub has hot water going to it. In all of the rooms, you want to take your flashlight, look in every single closet, look in every single corner, because roof leaks happen. Okay, they're going to happen from natural disasters, just pinholes in the top of the roof, and they're very easy to fix. But if there is a roof leak and you do see evidence of something past or something present, maybe if it's still wet, you need to get that inspected. That definitely warrants further inspection, and the best way to do that is to hire an inspector. And again, this is going to be the best between $100 and $300 that you've ever spent. They're going to walk under the home and really, attach to them like white on rice while you're paying them and while they're walking through the home. That way you don't have to get an inspector every single time. You're asking them, well, what are you looking for here? What are you looking for here? And they're going to give you a report of the good, the bad, and the ugly on the home. All right, and that's just what we want. So until you're seasoned enough to know that what you have is a solid manufactured home, after you've done 10 or 20 deals and you feel comfortable, all right, and this is from like no real estate experience. If you already have real estate experience, if you have a rehab background or construction background, then maybe you don't need to hire that inspector. But go through the manufactured home and make sure that the repairs that are needed, that the cost justifies what expense you're paying the seller. And of course, that the $100 or $300 for the inspector, don't pay more than that. But also that you can deduct from the seller's expense. Okay, so you're not even really paying it. But make sure that you have a good deal and make sure that the home is intact. You don't want to be buying a lemon. And on your first deal, again, if you've never looked at mobile homes, get an inspector 100%. Enjoy.